The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
In this economy, the question is, what do you do with the recession being the way that it is and people struggling to have a job? Well, you can go into entrepreneurship. Coming up on this edition of Perspectives, we go front and center with an author who talks just that. That's straight ahead on this edition of Perspectives with yours truly, Darren Jaime.
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables to speak on your decisions, cause in the long run it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective which shines a light, cause it might make a difference in someone else's life. What's your perspective?
And hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I'm Darren Jaime, and of course, we invite you to stay connected to us multiplicity of ways, but make sure you hit us up on our social networking sites, as well as check us out on the web, www.bronxnet.org, and there you can see some past episodes of the show, and also be able to share with us your comments and your thoughts. But coming up on this edition of Perspectives, we go front and center with the issue of entrepreneurship. It's not an issue, but it's really a career, and more people are breaking out and getting into entrepreneurship. The economy has forced people to really deal with entrepreneurship. Our guest in studio is not just an entrepreneur, he's a motivational speaker, an author, and there's much more to his experience. He's Dr. Michael McCain, and he's a poet, entrepreneur, life coach, spiritual teacher, and most of all, the author of this book called The Newborn Entrepreneur. And we're pleased to have sharing with us Dr. Michael McCain. Pleasure to have you back here.
Thank you, sir.
One more time you come back here and you share a little bit of your experience in The Newborn Entrepreneur. And congratulations on the book.
Thank you. Thank you.
So for somebody who doesn't know about entrepreneurship, you've taken it, put it into a book form, and it's become very real for you.
Yes. Entrepreneurship literally is like the lifeblood for me. There's been so many opportunities for me to do different things, but kind of finding yourself, you know, what it is you love to do, what it is you're passionate about, and being creative, taking the opportunity to be creative and turning it into something profitable for yourself.
Now, when you look at life now, and I started out by saying this, that, you know, the way the recession has been, the economy, has really forced people to look inside and find their own gifts, their own graces. And inside of a lot of people is this burden to try to even create entrepreneurship. Some forced, some just because simply this is what they want to do. Are you finding more and more people out there just really just going for it?
Yes. There is like an awakening, so to speak, with entrepreneurship. Even for the people that are working the 9-to-5 job, they're finding that it takes more to live, you know, financially. And some are using those entrepreneurial pursuits to create more income for themselves alongside of the work that they already have.
So as you began to write the book, what were some of the foundations to get you to write this book? It's called The Newborn Entrepreneur, and if you haven't seen it, let me just lift it up for you right here. It's called The Newborn. First of all, tell me about the title. Why The Newborn Entrepreneur?
I chose The Newborn Entrepreneur because literally I wanted people to know that from the womb or from conception, you have treasures, gifts, talents, ideas, and things on the inside of you that throughout the course of life is like a newborn. You have these things in you, but it's a process of getting to know them and them unfolding in your life, you discovering them, and also it's like a baby being molded and born and taking those first steps, you know, those first stumbles, learning the language, so to speak, and things of that nature, growing into the adult or the person that you will be in the future.
As you began to write the book, obviously you're writing through experience as well, and you have ventured off to be an entrepreneur as well. You're the president at the Blend Media and Maximize Publishing, and you've got your own business that's going on there. When did you decide for you that this is what I wanted to do?
I made that decision in between some changes that was going on in my life, such as divorce, dealing with some changes that happened with ministry, and I realized that I was dealing with a situation where I knew that I was talented and gifted, and I was not fully using everything that I had on the inside of me, which caused me going beyond just writing the books to seeking to maximizing my potential and using the publishing company to take it a step further, not just publishing my own work, but also helping those that needed an outlet to have their voices be heard.
And so how's it feel being a publisher?
It feels great when you connect with people and you're able to help people birth their visions, coach them through steps necessary, because some people need the help. You know, they have the idea, they have the message, but may not have everything that's needed to get them through the process. And so it has enriched me with several different skills that I didn't think would be possible. All I knew is that I wrote books, but I never knew that I would end up being a CEO of a publishing company and coaching others and bringing others through that process.
When you talk about your book, there's a couple of chapters that we'll go through, and I want to go through this though, but the makings of an entrepreneur. What makes an entrepreneur? Because somebody says, maybe that's not me. What makes an entrepreneur?
What makes an entrepreneur is knowing that you have vision, and knowing that the vision that you have is very achievable. You know, people have dreams and desires, but anytime that you have a passion that burns, it's something that you feel like you cannot live without. Whatever that calling is, that talent is, or that gift is, it's assigned to you that that's something that you should be pursuing further or working on to develop. For some people, it may not mean quitting your job right away. It may mean taking the necessary steps to making that dream more of a reality and disciplining yourself. One of the keys is the discipline, to sit and dedicate yourself time-wise and educating yourself to the fulfillment of the process of that.
You said something very important about quitting your job right away, because I think sometimes when people get the conception that they're supposed to branch off in a different area, whether it's entrepreneurship, even when it's time to move on and find another job or a career path, it's almost like the first step that people make sometimes hurriedly is to abort the job that you have. Right. Speak to us about that, because you got to know when to make the move to be that entrepreneur. And I know for you, you've made some moves in your own life, and one even moving down south. But talk to us about the timing in making these moves.
Timing is very critical. Timing is critical because it hinges everything, the success or the failure of whatever it is that you're moving into or working on. So you have to be very strategic in what you do. You have to have vision for what you're doing. You have to plan, have strategy, learn the process of, and getting familiar with those things. Some of the things that you'll do, it'll take you time to get familiar, learning yourself, learning your strengths, your weaknesses, and things of that nature. All of those things are important to know in the process of starting up a business, and the maintenance of the business. And once you're fully into the flow of those things, having the discipline to keep up with the challenges, the demands, the different seasons of change that will come your way. I think most people go into entrepreneurship blindsided with great expectations, high expectations, and sometimes those things are not realistic. They may not play out the way that individual may intended or visioned for it. And those are also things that you need to prepare for. I talk about it in the book, prepare for the worst. Right. Sometimes you have to prepare for the worst from the beginning so that you're not caught off guard. Giving yourself a plan, if it's a year, if it's a 5-year plan, to what it will take you to get you to that place that you desire to be.
Let me take a quick break and come back more with Dr. Michael McCain talking about the newborn entrepreneur. Going to go in depth. That's his book. We're going to go in depth and take a look at some of his chapters. Let him give a little bit of insight into it. And I guarantee you that if you're looking to become an entrepreneur or just want to strengthen your skills as an entrepreneur, we'll help you right after the break.
I love being in classrooms like this one and learning new things. But I'm a Brooklyn girl, and I know school can be hard. It's demanding, and we kids have many distractions, lots of other things we could be doing. Sometimes even your friends may tell you that school isn't cool, that it isn't the place to be. Don't listen to them. There's nothing more important than education. It's the key to everything else. It helps us understand our world and be better people, better friends, and better citizens. So stay in school, and don't let anyone tell you that you're not good enough or smart enough. Be a star, shine brighter than anyone else, and you'll make the grade.
This has been a public service announcement of the Make the Grade Foundation. Go to makethegrade.org to learn more.
Long before I was in Hollywood, I had a grandmother by the name of Estelle Marie Taylor, positive role models to make sure that I was on the straight path. Big Brothers Big Sisters carefully screens volunteers and places them in long-term mentoring matches with kids who face adversity. With more volunteers, especially men, and more donations, every little who needs a big can have it. Start something. If it's been a while since you've been involved, start something again. Learn more at bigbrothersbigsisters.org.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
Back here on Perspectives, our guest in studio, Dr. Michael McCain. He's the author of the book, The Newborn Entrepreneur. Not only is he the author of the book, he's the president of Blend Media and Maximize Publishing. And before the break, we were sharing a little bit about the book, and you go in depth with a couple of things. And in order to be an entrepreneur, there's some key steps you got to have.
Yes.
First off, you say vision, and in your book, you highlight vision and. The question I think that you said, or you, as I quote, the question to ask yourself is, what do you see? As a matter of fact, where do you see yourself?
Right. The question I was posing is really having the ability to dare yourself to dream. Sometimes we limit ourselves as far as the scope of a dream. You know, sometimes the things that we desire to do are very vast, and you meet different challenges with reality with those different things, but it's okay to dream. You know, sometimes society will make us feel like, okay, the things that we want to pursue, the things we want to do are unachievable, outlandish, unrealistic, and things of that nature. But if you really take time to have vision, daydream just a little bit about what life could be like, the achievements that you could make, the strides you could take, and then building a plan or strategy to get there.
And when you talk about vision, I think sometimes we find that people will participate in someone else's,
right,
but they won't have one for themselves.
Right.
How do you go about finding one, having one for yourself?
It's really centering yourself to what you're passionate about. And once you know what that is, what your true calling is or your true talent is, and being confident about it, I often say that if you don't give yourself a vision, if you don't give yourself a purpose, someone else will. And you'll find yourself living out someone else's idea for you, someone else's purpose for you, someone else's mindset concerning you. So it's really about finding what it is that you love, what you're passionate about, and pursuing it.
Leaders, entrepreneurs, how important is vision to being that?
It's very important for leadership. Because it's one of the conduits that bring change. You know, we are agents of change, those of us that are in leadership, and if there is no change and there's no pursuit of some of the vision that we have on the inside of us, some of the changes that we're hungry for or that people are yearning for, we will never see if we don't raise up as leaders daring to birth those things that we envision. Those ideas, those gifts, those talents, those businesses, those strategies and different things. If we don't dare to set our foot to do it, then who is going to do it?
In your book, you also not just talk about vision, you talk about also having the power of a plan. And you know, after you have a vision, I guess if you're an entrepreneur, a business person, there has to be a plan. Give us some insight into the power of a plan.
The power of a plan literally is your blueprint. Once you have narrowed it down to what it is that you want to do, who it is that you want to be, what type of business it is that you want to go into, you need a vision statement, a mission statement. You need to take time to plan out your strategies, your financial plans. There are so many different layers to the plan that you need to be very specific about. And to be honest with you, once you get down to the nuts and bolts of that, for many people, it defines whether if they go further into really making the entrepreneurship dream happen or that particular business happen. And for some, they visit the reality that they need more time. They need more skill. They need more mentorship from someone who has more experience in a certain area that will help bring them into what it is that they need.
Is that one of the pitfalls that people make? Because I think sometimes they think that once you have this vision, you have this plan, and you want to be this entrepreneur, that you just roll it out. And sometimes you have to understand you have to roll back and sometimes step back. But people with pride and I guess a lot of other things feel like, listen, I can just do this.
Very much so, sir. I really believe that even without an education, entrepreneurship is one of the easiest things if you have the right mindset, if you have the right backing, if you have the right mentorship. I mean, even without a college degree, high school diploma, and things of that nature, you can make some great things happen for you. But it's all about having that support system. That support system comes from both the mentorship, the wisdom. Is simple as investing in books. It's simple as investing in audio material, anything that is going to feed you, make you knowledgeable in the area of business that it is that you're doing, and connecting yourself with the right resources and people to help align yourself to get there.
Now, and when you talk about the power of a plan, it says no entrepreneur should, and I wish we had a graphic for this, start a business without having the following: vision statement, mission statement, company values, proposal, and marketing strategy. Kind of understand the vision, kind of understand the mission. Give us a little bit about the entrepreneur and the company values.
Company values, you know, if there's a dress code, if there's slogans and things that you use that are meaningful, different policies that you have in place so that you as an entrepreneur and those who work alongside you as employees are a part of a brand. And you want to make sure that your brand is being represented. You want to make sure that your vision is being spoken of. If you greet people a certain way, if you end your greeting a certain way, all of those details need to be made plain, need to be made known, so that as you're going forward, people that interact with you, they can hear in common conversation as far as a greeting, what your brand represents. So from start to finish of their experience, they get a full scope of what it is to interact with this business, what kind of services they get, what kind of level of professionalism they can be accustomed to receiving from you.
When you talk in your book, there's a thing that sounds kind of painful when it talks about, I hope you fail.
Yes.
Why do you hope that somebody fails, doctor?
Failure is one of the things that teaches people lessons that you can't read out of a book. Failure causes you to face some things that open up a reality or a revelation to you in a different way that you have not experienced. You know, some people see failure and it's the shock of it all or the trauma of it that causes them to really look at life and not want to do anything further they kind of want to give up. But failure has taught me some of my greatest lessons. It's like where your strengths are. It teaches you what you're really here to do. You start to see things differently from a different perspective. And in that downtime, you start to notice the things that you could focus on that will cause you to do greater. You start to notice the things that you could invest in to strengthen yourself, to strengthen your life. So I say, I hope you fail, in the sense that I hope you learn from your failures in life. I hope you see something. I hope you get the message. I hope you get the lesson, because there's always a lesson in each failure that you approach or that you experience. And I often call failure redirection. Failure gives you that opportunity to have that experience, to reevaluate your life, and to set yourself on a different path.
Should every entrepreneur fail?
Of course you will. Of course you will. Every major famous entrepreneur that I can come to think of has had numerous failures before what is now known as their successes, or them being a household name for whatever it is that they have done. They've had numerous doors slammed in their face, numerous opportunities at trying the same type of business and it not working out. So it's all about the strategy most of the time. It's all about the different things that go behind the scenes that cause them to fail. And you begin to develop a formula that leads to perfection. And sometimes you're trying out things and testing and error until you find that perfect formula that gives you the results that you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm reminded of the story about Colonel Sanders. If you know Colonel Sanders, he actually took his chicken to about 1,000 places, literally 1,000 places, and they told him no before he was actually able to start Kentucky Fried Chicken. So I guess, you know, failure does work out pretty good for Colonel Sanders and his family, but you got to fail before you succeed sometimes. Talking with Dr. Michael McCain here on Perspectives, talking about the power of entrepreneurship, the newborn entrepreneur, and that's the book that he's written. Stay with us. We'll get some final comments from him and some more right after this.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles.
Everybody bring it in.
I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out.
How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork?
I help keep kids in school.
Good.
And that's the name of the game.
My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Dr. Michael McCain is here with us, and he's the author of the book, The Newborn Entrepreneur. And, you know, he's been writing, and he wrote several books, and we've had him here on the show before, but this one here really deals with entrepreneurship and helping people to understand that if you're going to be an entrepreneur, what are some of the keys in order to be a great entrepreneur? And, you know, I want you to just say once again why you wrote the book.
I wrote the book to help people in the minority community understand that visions and dreams are possible, that they are achievable, that you can make some great things happen with your life, that for those that are having a hard time finding work, employment, and things of that nature, it's just a challenge of re-envisioning your life, re-strategizing some things, thinking about things different. Something as common as a cleaning business. When I first started one of my first businesses, I had a hard time finding a job. And I took something very simple that I did on a day-to-day basis, and I turned it into a business for myself. And that was the first step into the things that I'm doing even now in the future. I didn't think that I would go from cleaning people's homes or cleaning different types of facilities into being a CEO of a publishing company.
Awesome ride, huh?
Yes, sir.
So for people who want the book, how do they go about getting it?
It's available through Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com.
What's it like for you to have the ability to have, you know, your stuff, Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, and yeah, starting out cleaning floors and doing good things, and, you know, but now to be the CEO, how does it go?
It feels great. This is definitely not something that I can say per se that I knew would happen on this level, but it's great to be able to reach people. It's great to hear the stories, the testimonies, to get the emails, to get the reviews from people that let you know that your book or your vision, your story, your message, your brand has impacted their life in a way that has created change and inspired them to make moves in their lives and do things to affect both their families, their communities, and things like that. That's very powerful.
Where do you go from here?
From here, I just expect greater from here. I can't really say per se, but I would like to see greater from here.
And when you talk about writing a book, for somebody who wants to write a book,
yes, sir.
What kind of advice do you give them?
I would say start with a timeline. Doesn't matter what type of book it is, start with a timeline of the topics and the events and things that you would like to cover. And once you have that timeline completed, have someone interview you or get a recorder and talk about in depth the things, the topics that you plan to cover within that. And literally you'll find that within minutes you've talked your book out. So as you sit down, all you can do is just sit there and begin to write, and the process will become much easier and the flow will be much easier.
All right, Dr. Michael McCain, our guest, is the author of the book, The Newborn Entrepreneur. He is also the CEO of a company that deals with publishing, and he is the president of Blend Media and Maximize Publishing. And so we invite you to stay connected to him. How do they get in touch with you?
Facebook and Twitter.
All righty, so get in touch with him through Facebook and Twitter, and there you'll be able to get some information, and you can be that entrepreneur that you know that you can be, because it's inside of you. And to all of us, we've got something inside of us, but sometimes it's a hard time getting it out. But when you get it out, it really works for your good. And so we're encouraging you to make sure that you take advantage of the things that you have inside, whether it's a skill, a trade. You've been given it for a purpose and a reason. Hopefully you can get it out so that way you can be the best you that you can be. For all of us here on the Center Perspectives, we thank you for watching. Until the next time we meet, stay safe, share your perspective with somebody else. It just might make a difference in their life. Darren Jaime saying take care and God bless.
Someone else's life. Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions, because in the long run, it's your...
So, I got this new family. And I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking?